everyone, it's Pam here with Tattered Paper and Lace, and I am with you today for a little bit different video. I normally am doing collages, but I also make journals, and I found this book in an antique store, and I'm not even sure of the copyright. Let's see if I can find it. The last copyright was 1930. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can see it in the camera. 1931 or 32. Yeah, see the copyright right there. It says 1932 was the last copyright. So it's an old book. And its cover is old, but I'm going to make a Halloween journal out of this. And it is the crime book of J.C. Reader. It is in bad shape. It's got a split here. It's got a little hole up here. It's got a hole right there. The edges are tattered, but I want to keep the book intact. So I thought I'd come along and show you how I do that. And how you can still use a book even, it's still attached. I've already cut the book block out, but it is, and I'll show you in just a minute. So I don't know if you know how to cut a book block out. If you take the book and do it like this, and you just slice down here, trying not to cut the spine. And then once you get that side sliced down, you do the same thing with this side. And you just slice down this between the book and the cover. And then your book block will come out. I started this, and I got as far as I did, and I thought, well, I should video this and show you guys how I do my books when they need a little repair work. I usually do this on any book that it's got a pretty good age on it. I will do what I'm about to show you on any of those books, just to sturdy the spine up. So we've got a split here. The edges are rough, but I wanted to keep the spine. And let me see if I can show you just how. See the white through it? That is how thin the book cloth is on the gutters, I think they call them. These are gutters, I think they call them. It's really, if I pulled on it very hard, it'd come apart. Well, we're gonna do something about that. I think you can even see through there is a hole. How thin it is, how thin the fabric is through there. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do, and it'll sturdy it up, and you won't have to worry about it. So what you do, this is a 1 3/4, I believe, is the spine. Hold on just a second. Get this ruler, and let's show you. Now, if the spine was already detached and didn't have any, then I might not do this. But since it's still attached, just very shabbily, I think I can make this work. So to measure the spine, you have the gutter of the book, which is this indent. If I had a book handy, I don't think I have one handy that'll show you what that indent looks like when it's not old, or not as old. I've got this children's reader. So this part right here is called the gutter. And so when you open the book, as you see, and then the gutter on this side. So you measure the book from gutter edge to gutter edge on the inside. So my gutters here are, here's the gutter, so here's the spine. And so to measure how big the spine is, how big the spine actually is, this one is 1 3/4. So I don't measure the gutter part. I don't go all the way to the book block. The book cover edge. I just measure across the, there's another hole right there. You can see the little white spot, and there's a little hole up there. So I don't measure from here to here, which is 2 inches, but I measure from here to here, which is about 1 3/4. When I do it this way, it's a little easier. I'm gonna hold it like that, and it's 1, I measured 1 3/4 is what I came up with. So I cut me a piece of black cardstock here, just regular weight, whatever the normal weight is, I don't even know. But it's not heavy, it's not heavy duty by any means. I cut that the width and height of my book, including going all the way to the edge, pretty much. I mean, it might be, you know, an 1/8 short, 1/16 short. That will fit right inside there, okay? So you do that. And then I decided it might need to have a little more sturdiness about it. So I just cut a little bit heavier piece of, this piece is a little heavier than this piece. And I'm gonna glue the two together. But first, on this first piece, I took my scoreboard. I think you can see those ridges here, all the little ridges. I scored a 16th. I believe it's a 16th. Let me see. Where's my scoreboard at? It might be an 1/8. I don't know, I bet it's a 16th. On every one of these, yeah, that's a 16th. Every one of these little grooves is a 16th. And I scored it every 16th of an inch, all the way across the piece. That makes it be rounded, because I want this to be a little bit rounded. Then I take this piece, and I'll see if I can show you on the edge of my table here. I take this piece and I do it like this to round that edge and to round that piece. So then it becomes a little bit rounded. Okay, let's move you back up here. And that is going to go in my spine under this little piece right here. Every book also has on the spine a little piece that's folded over of the fabric. Okay, so you want to put this piece of card underneath that flap. But I decided it needed to be a little bit thicker, so I cut another piece that's out of a thicker cardstock, and I'm going to glue the two together. I did not score this one. I don't need to score this one because this one is scored, and when I glue the two together, I will roll it again and on the edge of the table, just like I showed you, and that will make them both rounded. Might not be quite as rounded, and I'm okay with that. I am just going to use regular art glitter glue to do this together, to glue these two together. I don't feel the need to do anything more. And so I'm just gonna, and I want the rounded part to be down because I want the spine to round out like spines do in older books. And so that's what I want it to do. And I'm just going to put glue all over this. Heavy enough, but not, you know, not overly so. And I've done this lots of times, so this works. This is a little bit more of a shabby, well, maybe not. I've had other books that the spine was pretty shabby as well. Okay, and then I'm just going to, I'll move this to the side. I'm just going to put this on here. This one is a little bit shorter, which is okay. I'm just going to put this on here like this. Make sure it's lined up fairly straight. Wipe off the excess glue. Now, what is going to make this be sturdy is this is going to be glued directly onto this spine piece right here. Now, I'm going to do the same thing to the edge of this, I mean on the edge of the table like I showed you before. I won't try to scoot you around to see that again. It's pretty simple that you just roll it along the edge of the table to bend it so that it is rounded, as you can see. And when you do that, if the glue is still wet, that is actually easier because it has broken down the fibers in the book. So when I put this in the spine, which I'm going to do that right now, I'm going to glue it in. I'm just going to use art glitter glue again. I will glue it and I will stick it up under each end so that this piece of fabric of the book cloth is on top of my new piece of spine board. Okay, that's going to be glued in, and what you will see then is you'll see that's going to cover that. It's going to cover, that's not a hole, that's just a splatter of some kind. But you can see where the edge of this fabric, this book cloth, is worn out. Well, this is going to take the place of that and just meld it in together. This side's not as bad as the bottom. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to put the glue on here. I will do it on here. And so I'm going to glue the scored piece. I put the two pieces together. One is not scored and one is scored. And the scored piece is going to go flat down. So I just do the same thing as I did putting the two pieces together. And I'm going to glue this directly to the spine of this book. I wanted to keep the spine just because it's an older, and I like old books and I like the way old books look. And this is going to be a Halloween book, so it's good for it to be grungy. I am going to use to embellish and use some of the pages for the signatures. I'm going to use Tracy Fox's Creep on June kit from last year, which is the Case of Craftly Hall. I'm going to use that digital kit to make this. And this is a little bit tough because this is thick, but we can get it right in there. You have enough time to kind of scoot it around if you need to. And that is what we're going to do. Now, I just glued it in, straight into the book, straight to the spine that's there. Right here. And I will take it then and do, like that's little bits coming off there, which is okay. Now, we don't even see that split that was right here. And then I'm going to take my glue. I'm going to stick it under here because we want this piece glued down. And I'm not worried about, nothing else needs to go under it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to glue that down, which is going to reinforce that. Then I'm going to glue this down, which will reinforce that. Now that has the spine reinforced, but we also are going to have to reinforce the gutters. Let's make sure that's going to be, there we go. Okay, so see I put glue all the way in there, so it is gluing those pieces together. But that has made our spine much more durable. Now I'm going to rock it along the edge of my table again because I want that spine to curve. And so that's what it looks like. And so that now is quite sturdy. Now to do the gutters, because you see they're still not very strong, because that fabric, that cloth is very, very thin in there. I just want to make sure this is glued down really good. Okay, I like it. I'm going to take my little tiny roller here. And I'm going to roll it right along the edge, just to make sure it has glued down properly. Okay, so that's how I'm going to use this, continue to use this spine for this journal, even though it is quite dilapidated. Now, I haven't gotten the things out to do because I haven't looked for something yet. But the next thing I will do is I'm going to roll this again. Oh, now I'm going to wait till it's dried. I'm going to put either, I haven't decided yet, it's the reason I hadn't done it yet, either a strip of Tyvek or fabric along bridging this gutter here. Either one works. I have done both. Either one will work. Tyvek, I might do Tyvek since this is very and I've already, so I wanted to put the black here because I wanted, whatever you saw through it, I wanted it to be black. So you can see the edges, and that is the cardstock that you're seeing. I need to put a little bit of glue under the edge of that. I'll use my little glue bottle here because I didn't get that glued in there good, right in there. There we go. Get that in there good. Okay, and then when so that keeps any light colored fabric or any light colored anything that I might be using. That'll keep that from, there we go. That'll keep that from showing through because I wanted it to be black on the spine part. So let me get my tie back and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I have a whole container, and anytime I would get a Tyvek envelope in the mail for whatever reason, from wherever, it wouldn't really matter, I would keep it. So if I'm going to do Tyvek, I want to make sure that I do a short enough piece. That's why I think I might do fabric. I don't want this to show out beyond unless I want to paint this. I could paint that black and that way it wouldn't matter. But I want this to cut that straight right there. I would just put this right here. I could have put it underneath, but I think I'm going to use fabric instead. I just haven't found a fabric, but it doesn't have to be like this. One piece would be plenty big enough to do both sides of this. If I just cut this in half like this. And all this is a Tyvek envelope that is like this. So I used to get these in the mail when I was working, and I have just kept all of them. And so I'm recycling the ones that I have, and I have a whole stack, so I'm not ever going to run out because you don't use it every day. But I would just use this and glue it right along there. And I could color the ends of it if I was afraid that would show, but I will have a piece of paper you know, covering this, I had originally wanted to keep the end paper, but I had to tear off. I originally wanted to keep the fly leaf, which is this part right here, on here. That was the fly leaf that was on either end of the book, but I couldn't. It was just not. It wasn't going to work. I wasn't going to be able to do that. So I didn't do that. So we can just put this like this, glue that down, and then I could paint that, or I could use fabric. There's my other piece. Here it is. Here it is. So now I could have put it under here too, but because of the paper that's on here, you couldn't get it over as far as you needed to, so it's best not to do that. But I wouldn't want to go past this line anyway. That's where I would put new end papers. So I could glue this in. I could then glue fabric over the whole thing, but I am not going to sew through this spine, because, so if I use this, I would probably want to paint it black, because I'm going to do a hollow spine, and to do that, you won't really see down in there, but you might if it was white, and I don't want it to be white. So this is a hollow spine as well, and the hollow spine means that you can stick your finger or something thin, like, let's show you, like a ruler. You can stick it down in there like that. So it's a hidden hollow back spine, and that's what I'm going to make. So whatever I do inside the spine could possibly be seen. Probably not, because you don't see much, but I wouldn't want that to be a white, because I'm afraid it would show. So I would probably paint it black if I'm going to use that. And I may wind up using this. I have not decided completely yet, because I haven't looked for fabric. If I did fabric, I probably would also paint that black. Let me show you what I could use, but I've got this waiting for another project. So I have another book that this is going to be the spine of, and this is just muslin that I painted black. But see, I could use something like this also as a cover, and I'm not going to cover the whole thing, because I don't want this to get too thick, because this is now quite sturdy, and so we don't need that to be any thicker really. So I would not do it all the way, but I would just do another strip about as wide as this to go down each side if I were going to use the fabric. So that is how I make a spine. If you need, you can say or tell me in the comments if you need for me to show you about when I decide. I can come back and show you putting those pieces on and how that works. I'm going to also be working on making this curve a little more, which that just is a rolling it on the edge of the desk. We'll do that, since I scored the one piece of card, which helps that tremendously. Okay, so let me tell you what else I did. I did this sometime back, not recently, but this skeleton head skull, I loved this. I thought, oh, I have to use that for a Halloween book. And I put transparent crackle paste from Tim Holtz in various areas, because I wanted it to look like it had been in the ground, maybe. And I don't know if I'll do anything else to the cover. I don't think I will. And I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave the grungy edges, the grungy corners, because this is going to be like an old case book. If you know about Tracy Fox's last year's Creep on June, it was something of Craftly Hall, and it's like a case study of what happened at Craftly Hall, and I am going to use this book for that. So that is my video for today. I appreciate you watching. Let me know if you would like to see the entire process of this. I have already gotten together some pages for signatures. I'll probably be doing 5 to 7 signatures in this journal. I have, what did I do with the pages? I've lost my pages already. What did I do with them? Well, I'm notorious for laying stuff down and don't know where I've put it. Oh, here we go. I have lost so many things. Okay, so here is signatures put together, pages that are not cut necessarily to size. I've got 5 here. I don't have any of the digitals printed out yet, so there'll be more pages in here in each signature, but I'm thinking 5 signatures will be about right, and that'll give me enough room to embellish and have some embellishments in there, and some thicker, maybe thicker embellishments. I don't know yet. Don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'm thinking 5 signatures is my norm. And I usually do a 2-inch spine. It's not quite 2 inches, but I think it'll be fine. So that is what I wanted to show you today. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you'd like to see the rest of the process of putting this journal together. I'll be happy to bring you along for that. Just let me know if you'd like to see how to do that. But I just wanted to show you how you can use even a spine that is like you feel like might not be able to keep it and use. This is going to now be completely sturdy enough to use. It's not going to come apart when I get the fabric or the Tyvek or both. I've done that on some books. I've done both. When I get that in here, it is going to be perfectly usable without having to do anything on the outside or anything. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you'd like to follow along with the rest of this process, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.